Good morning, children. Welcome back to chemistry class. Now I am going to start a new lesson, chemical reactions. This is your lesson number 6. Before entering our topic, we have to know what is chemical reactions. What are all the things happen in the chemical reaction? Chemical reaction is the reaction in which new substances are formed which cannot be reversed or called chemical change. Chemical change, otherwise call it as a chemical reactions. So all the chemical reactions are irreversible. We can get a new substance. Now you can see nature of the reaction. So how we can know the chemical reaction has been taken place? The thing is, the color will be changed when the reaction takes place. The color will change. Change in state. The three states of matters we have: solid, liquid, gaseous. So the change in state will be taking place, and then it can form a precipitation end of the reaction, and then evolution of gas. When the reaction has been taken place, the gas comes out from the reaction. So these are the four things we can identify the chemical reaction has been taken place. Our topic is change in energy in a reaction. So all the chemical reactions, the energy changes can be taken place. The energy changes are of two types. They are exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. First, exothermic. What is exothermic? A chemical reaction in which heat or light is evolved is called an exothermic reaction. So when the reaction taken place, it gives out heat and light. You can call it as an exothermic reaction. See, in this picture, the burning is taking place. We know very well when the burning is taken place, we can feel hot as well as the light comes out from the reaction. So we can call it as an exothermic reaction. Why a change in energy in a reaction? So why the change has been taking place in this reaction? Any two atoms in a molecule are held together by a force of attraction called chemical bond. So individual atoms, they are attracting towards each other and can form a molecule. That force of attraction, we can call it as a chemical bond. Result of chemical reaction. In formation of chemical bond, we can call it as a chemical reaction. So what is happening? What is the end of this chemical reaction? What we are getting the result? Here the breaking of bonds of the reactant molecules so as to set the atoms free for a new combination. Yes, once the bond has been broken to form a new substance, the atoms are free for a new combination. So the molecules are broken down and then it can be split into atoms. Again, it is ready to combine with another atom to form a new compound, which can be forming a new combination. So all the chemical reactions, the new substance can be formed. So that is the thing taking place in the end of the chemical reaction. Next, the forming of fresh bonds between the new partners so that the product molecules are formed. Yes, so the individual atoms, it is ready to combine with one more atom to form a new compound. It is ready to combine with another partner, that is atom. So that the product molecule, so it is combining together and then forms a molecule. The new product has been forming in the end of the chemical reaction. With the help of this graph, we can able to know how the energy changes has been taking place in an exothermic as well as an endothermic reaction. And the first chart, the exothermic reaction, how the energy changes has been taking place. So when the reactions are taking place, reactants combining together and then it forms a product. So what is happening when the reactants giving out a product in exothermic, heat and light comes out. So heat given out. So the energy level has been decreasing. Energy comes out from the reaction. So the energy is decreasing. Our next chart is endothermic. So endothermic, what is happening when the reactants is reacting, it is absorbing heat and light from the atmosphere. So what is happening? The energy level is increasing. It is absorbing heat and light itself. So the energy is increasing in the product. So we have a difference. In exothermic, heat comes out. So the energy level is less. But in the case of endothermic, it is absorbing heat, so the energy level is maximum. So this is the difference between the exothermic and the endothermic reaction. Next, examples of exothermic reactions. Our first reaction is burning. We know very well burning. The burning of a substance is exothermic because of what? While the things are burning, we can feel heat as well as it produces a light. So we can call it as exothermic reactions. Here we have some of the examples: hydrogen, carbon, coal, CNG. CNG is nothing but of compressed nitrogen gas, and LPG. LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. That is nothing but of at a home, mother is using a cooking that gas cylinder. In that cylinder was filled with this LPG. These are called fuels. CNG, compressed nitrogen gas, and LPG we can call it as a fuels. So these are the reactions undergo for a burning and give out a product. It is a exothermic reaction. Burning reactions. In the carbon burns with the help of oxygen, it can produce carbon dioxide. So carbon is burning to give out carbon dioxide. Next, CH4. CH4 is nothing but of methane. When a methane is burning with oxygen to forms a carbon dioxide and water molecule. Next, hydrogen is burning with the oxygen to form a water vapor, that is H2O. Next, C4H10. C4H10 is nothing but of LPG gas formula. It is combining with oxygen, burning and forming a carbon dioxide and then water molecules. So this is the example for exothermic reaction, burning. These are all the reactions. The burning is taking place. So but the burning oxygen is important. So all the uh, reactants combining with the oxygen, that is burning with the help of the oxygen to form a corresponding product. Our next exothermic reaction is active metals react with water. So what are active metals? Active metals means nothing but it is readily reacting. The reaction of highly active metals like potassium, sodium or calcium, vigorous and exothermic. What is vigorous? Very fast. It is reacting readily. So we can call it as a vigorous. and exothermic. Exothermic, so it gives out heat and light. In this reaction, hydrogen gas is liberated. Metal hydroxide is formed in this reaction. So one thing is it is liberating hydrogen gas. The another thing is it is forming a hydroxide, the corresponding metals hydroxide. The first, sodium is reacting with water to form a sodium hydroxide, and then H2 hydrogen gas comes out from this reaction. Our next reactive metal is potassium. Potassium is reacting with water to form a potassium hydroxide, and then again hydrogen gas comes out. And then the last and final active metal is calcium. Calcium is reacting with water to form a calcium hydroxide and then hydrogen gas. So all the active metals, while it is reacting with water to form a corresponding metal hydroxides, that is sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide and calcium hydroxides, and then hydrogen gases comes out from this reaction. It is also a example for exothermic reaction. Next example of reaction is the dissolution of metal oxides in water. Dissolution means what? Is nothing but of it is dissolving in water. First, bases. Bases like sodium oxide and calcium oxide vigorously react with water to form their hydroxides, evolving a large amount of heat. Yes, the basic bases, sodium oxide and calcium oxide, when it is reacting with water, it gives out a large amount of heat. So when the heat comes out, obviously it is exothermic reaction. The hydroxides dissolve in excess of water. So once the hydroxide was produced, again it is dissolved in the water. Here we are having a reaction of calcium oxide. Commercially, we can call this calcium oxide as a quicklime. Okay, and then slaking or and then mixing with this one to the water, we can call it as a slaking of lime. Here we are taken a sodium oxide. This sodium oxide is reacting with water to form a sodium hydroxide. So while it is converted to sodium hydroxide, the heat, large amount of heat comes out from this reaction. So we can call it as a exothermic reaction. Next, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide also reacting with water to produce calcium hydroxide. When we continuously mixing calcium oxide, is a solid as well as it has been producing a calcium hydroxide solution. Then while continuously we are added water to this calcium hydroxide, it can form a calcium hydroxide aqueous solution. So we have a difference. Here it is a solution, it is a aqueous means it's a water solution. Next, the dissolution of non-metal oxides in water. So these are the metal oxides, how they reacted we saw. Now we are going to see the non-metals while it is reacting water, what is the product we are getting. The oxides of non-metals are acidic and many of them dissolve in water to form acids, and then it is also exothermic reaction. So the metal oxides can dissolve in the water, it can form a corresponding hydroxide. But in the case of non-metal oxides while reacting with water, it is forming a corresponding acid. Here carbon dioxide is reacting with water to form a H2CO3. It is nothing but of carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is very good example is soda. The aerated drink is mixed with the carbon dioxide, so it is a carbonic acid only. Next, sulfur dioxide is reacting with water to form a sulfurous acid H2SO3. Next, sulfur trioxide is reacting with water to form a H2SO4. It is nothing but of sulfuric acid. So these are the reactions taken place. So all the reactions are exothermic reaction. Our next exothermic reaction is reaction between a basic and an acid axis. Here, a basic oxide, it is reacting with acidic oxide and then forming a salt, and then simultaneously it is producing a heat. Sodium oxide is reacting carbon dioxide, it forms a sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Then calcium oxide is reacting carbon dioxide to form a calcium carbonate. It is also a salt. So both the acids and basic acids combining together forming a salt, and then it is producing a heat also. So we can call it this reaction as an exothermic reaction. Here we have a next reaction, neutralization reaction. In a neutralization reaction, an acid reacts with the base, forming a salt and water. This is the exothermic reaction. Base plus acid, it gives salt plus water. First, the base sodium hydroxide is reacting with acid HCl to form a NaCl, sodium chloride salt, and then water comes out. So this is a neutralization reaction. Next, potassium hydroxide is reacting sulfuric acid to form a potassium sulfate and then water. So when acid and base combine together, it forms a salt and water. While the time of forming a salt, it is gives out a heat. So we can call it as a exothermic reaction. Assignment for this class: define exothermic reaction. Write the burning reaction. Any one reaction you can write. What is chemical bond? Chemical formula of slaking lime is dash. Then the final one is what is neutralization reaction. You can write these and question answers for a rough note. Thank you, students. Have a wonderful day.